Welcome to Mary Alice.
What did you do?
We are a Desperate Housewives recap podcast with me, Erin McGee.
And me, Jakub Tanzi. Two best friends breaking down each episode until we answer the ultimate question, Mary Alice, what did you do?
Unless, of course, we have finished season 1, in which case, insert new mystery here.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack on Wisteria Lane.
Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
So get comfortable and let's get into this week's episode. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy New Year again.
Woo! We're so confused about time.
Yes, our timelines are, it's fair to say, askew.
Yes. There's in the finale of It Welcome to Derry. Spoiler alert, but by the time this comes out, it's long finished. It's revealed that Pennywise exists in all times at once. And so that's how I feel when we're recording and talking about when it's out versus present day.
You're like omnipresent.
Yeah.
Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes, loved it.
Loved.
That's probably arguably my favorite movie ever.
I was gonna say, I think it's in my letterbox top 4 for sure.
I actually would say that's in my top 5 all-time movies because I've got my nostalgic ones, but in terms of just genuinely what I consider to be a perfect movie, I think there's only ever 2 movies I've watched that I would give 5 stars, 0 criticisms to.
Is one of them Phantom Menace?
No, I love Star Wars, but those are for nostalgia reasons. I know they're bad, but like it's Everything Everywhere All at Once and the first Into the Spider-Verse movie. No notes.
I completely agree with you on the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Just the first one. The second one I didn't enjoy very much.
And I think, so those 2 perfect movies. Another film that I would say is perfect, I don't think you'll have seen it, is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I have seen it. I did think it was a little boring.
Oh, I loved
but I can
it.
understand why people love it.
Oh.
It's just not for me.
That's in my top 4 for sure. And then I have to have Labyrinth because that's my nostalgia movie. I watched Labyrinth pretty much every day from the age of 5 to 8.
Desperados. What is an example of a perfect movie that you have 0 criticisms allowed? If you have a single note, you cannot comment on it.
Yes. And I would argue Labyrinth is a perfect movie. And don't come at me and say about David Bowie's crotch because I said what I said.
That's part of the perfection.
It's part of the rock star creep vibe that he has going on. It works. Anywho.
How have you been? What's up?
I've been really good. Jakub and I are both now officially on Christmas vacation.
Whoop, whoop.
Woo, woo. So I'm excited to see my family. I'm very excited to see all the kids. And there's just good vibes in the air. There's magic in the air. And I'm especially in a good mood because Rory and I have been doing, as Jakub knows, 1,000-piece puzzle. And we finished it last night.
Hey. Congratulations.
Yes. And you've
been...
Big
accomplishment.
Thank you. And you've been sick.
I've been sick. I have very little chat this week because I have been ill and I've spent a lot of time in bed rotting. And I've not been to the gym in like a week, which for me is a very, very long time. And it's been nice because I feel guilt-free about it. But at the same time, I have a lot of anxiety about not going for a week. When I was in bed, I watched a ton of stuff while I was ill.
Of course you have to.
But I think the highlight was the new Knives Out movie.
I've not watched that yet, but I do want to.
Wake Up Dead Man, I think it's called. Glenn Close is in it. As we all know, I'll watch anything with Glenn Close. Her performance was phenomenal, as is to be expected. Yeah. But I didn't like the second one very much, but someone told me this one's better and 100% agree. The order is first, third, second. But the second one is like a lot below the third one. Really, really enjoyed it. Would recommend.
Amazing.
And it's one of the, I actually guessed who the murderer was this time. And I'm really bad at that kind of thing. So I was like,
I'm going to watch it and text you. I'll tell you the runtime and then we can work out when I worked.
Sure.
Race, yeah.
How's Pluribus? Have you still been watching that?
I'm still watching Pluribus. I don't know. I mean, there was a really great episode that just came out. I feel this, I don't know if it's the mood that I'm in or not, because I've also been watching the new Percy Jackson and I love Percy Jackson. I love those books so much. And I think when you have a personal relationship with books, any adaptation of them feels like a personal attack on you if they change anything. And they changed something massive in the latest episode. I think for people at home, I'm currently on episode 4. And they changed a lot. And now I trust you, Rick, but what you doing? What you doing? And yes, I do also love the Percy Jackson movies. Fight me on it. I'm not going to say they're perfect. They're not in my Letterboxd top 4. But I love them. Big fan.
Gorgeous. Maybe we should start a modded Letterboxd.
Oh.
Just something to consider.
It would be us fighting. Fighting in our own
such an
reviews.
eclectic collection of movies.
You have to work out if it's Aaron or Jakub. So it's Stranger Things, because sometimes they do TV series on Letterboxd. Stranger Things, I'm like, scariest thing I've ever seen. Eden. It's got to be Eden. But yes, I've been watching also the Christmas films, of course, which I was speaking about a little bit last week. I have watched more bad ones. Love that.
Do you know what we should watch just for content for the pod? Isn't there a Hallmark Christmas movie with Terry Hatcher and Mike? I forgot the actor's name.
Is there?
Yeah, and there was a
James Denton.
Yeah, because last year I'm sure there was like a whole big press tour because it was like, oh my God, Susan and Mike are together again for a thing.
I am looking this up right now.
I can't be making this up. I'm so confident.
Is this a dream? And their movie is called A Kiss Before Christmas, where they play a married couple, Joyce and Ethan, whose relationship is tested by Christmas magic, leading to a delightful rom-com exploring it all. Do you think we should do this for some bonus content on Patreon?
I think we should. I genuinely think we should. No, genuinely.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's do that. Any excuse to watch a movie with you, baby.
Hell yeah.
So this episode, we did a watch along on Patreon for, and I'm very glad that we did. Because, spoiler alert, I cried my eyes out.
Again, we keep picking watch-along episodes that we're going to end up crying in, and it was not intentional.
I've not cried at many episodes. I am a big crier, but I'm not. I know that I cried a lot during Lynette's ADHD medication arc, and I cried like a little baby at this one. I cried when Rex died, and I will cry again.
And it took us off guard because it's like lots of silly things happening, and then at the end, it's like, oh, no.
Yeah. I think that's something about... So, when you've seen a television show before and when you're familiar with some of those storylines, they can still, like in today's episode, they can really still gut punch you because instead of this, oh my God, this just happened. Instead it's, oh no, not this scene. Not this scene.
It's the anticipation of it.
Yeah. So the second I saw Gabby go into the house at the end of this episode, I was like, oh
Yikes.
no. But will we get into it?
Well, this episode is called Color and Light. And I think that's significant because we've had the lime episode. We've had the hat episode. I would like to pen this as the blue episode.
This is a blue episode.
I'm glad you clocked it.
Yeah, I didn't clock it as much as the lime one, but I was like, oh, we're doing blue.
Yeah.
It was mainly Carl. He's so blue-coded.
Because I already did the screenshots on the way up here. And so I've done the blue collage. So hang on.
Bluage.
The bluage. And this is not all the examples I could find, but like...
Oh, that's hella blue.
There's so much blue.
I will say...
Blue is a more common color.
That blue is, in general, I would say blue is the color of the show, baby blue.
Oh, okay.
I would say that it's the most used color. And I do think it's on purpose. And I think it's part of the suburban aesthetic, peaceful, pastel. Like, I think that if we were to tally it all up, and guess what? I'm not gonna. I would say it's the most featured color of the
That's
show.
it. I did start to think, am I reading too much into this towards the end of my notes? Because I was like, blue is a very... like basic common color. People wear blue a lot. So I was like, maybe I'm reading too much into it. And then I was like, no, I'm going to embrace it.
Yes.
So get ready to hear a lot about me talking about the color blue.
Blue Christmas.
Blue Christmas. Calling all desperados.
Are you enjoying the pod?
Want to access our episodes early and support Aaron and I to keep the show running?
Well, now you can.
Over at patreon.com/modded, you can support the show for as little as £3 a month.
Why, Jakub, that's less than the price of the coffees that keep us coherent during records.
Truly, no joke. You can get a shout out from us here, access episodes a whole day earlier than everyone else, and even get access to occasional bonus watch along episodes.
Ooh.
We're aiming for monthly.
But no pressure. Seriously.
We love you either way.
It's just there if you're looking for a way to show your appreciation and help us keep doing what we do.
Want to support the show for free? Tell a friend.
Tell your mother.
Tell your aunt who you know loves Desperate Housewives.
Tell your therapist.
Tell your ex-boyfriend.
No, do not break no contact. But tell anyone who might enjoy our ramblings.
And leaving a review helps more than you know.
We love you, Desperados.
That's patreon.com/modded. MAWDYD.
Now, back to the episode.
Mary Alice voiceover tells us about how mothers came to invent play dates so they themselves could have time to themselves, but that Lynette doesn't get to take advantage of this maternal innovation because the twins, aka the spawn of Satan, no longer receive playdate invitations. And we see some examples of why through a montage of flashbacks. We see the twins convincing Sasha Eden's boy that magic wings would allow him to fly.
Which, can I just say, a very similar thing happens later. So can I just stick...
In this episode or...
No. Can I stick a pin in this
You
and we can come
absolutely
at
can
it
be.
in like season 4?
We'll put a pin in that. But yeah, we see this boy with like a pair of cardboard wings having his leg bandaged by his
Yep.
mother. Another example is convincing Sharon Chazin's boy to ride his bike.
Sharon Chazins.
I had to turn on the subtitles.
Sharon Chazins, slip around, wicked witch.
Did you say slip it around?
I don't know what I said. Sometimes my mouth is just on autocorrect.
Yeah. That's the current meme in the time we are recording presently. So you can place us in the timeline.
People are like, Madam Morrible, I haven't heard that name in years.
So yeah, they convinced this boy to ride his bike backwards. And the other example with the most wild surname I've heard yet is encouraging Lisa Seedman's boy to try an exciting new game called Toss the Brick.
I have an off-the-cuff question. Hate me, fight me, come and get me. Did you, I guess the term is roughhouse growing up at all? Do you remember playing games where you were fighting? Did you play games that were kind of violent-y or extra physical?
I don't think anywhere close to the degree of the twins.
Did you?
I remember going to my grandmother's every Saturday and my cousins would also be there and they were way more roughhousey than we were.
Yeah, because I did, I know that my cousin Liam and I would play SmackDown, like wrestling, which was basically an excuse for him to try and kill me. I remember that. And I remember this is a very Scottish specific game, and I am not going to tell the full title of the game.
I know exactly the game you're talking about.
We're going to call it Hunty.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And the premise of that game is that everybody on the team gets a letter of a word. And it is your job as the attacker in Hunty to find out that word. So you're trying to get as many letters as possible. How do you get those letters? You beat the person up until through torture methods they give it up. And you know what? I think that's a very important puzzle piece for me on why I'm the woman I am today.
We played that too. Primary school playground. It was happening.
Yeah, I remember we would find a way. We'd go into the park, and the reason we went into the park near my house was so that everybody was fenced in and there was no escape. And I remember a boy called PJ beating me up and begging me, and he was nearly crying. He was like, Erin, just give, I don't want to keep doing this to you, man. And I was like, I'm not a rat. Oh.
Right, so back in the present day, Lynette breaks up the twins from beating up, well, another set of twins. However, these twins claim they were doing the beating up as their panicked mother runs over. And basically, it becomes clear that these two sets of twins are on the same wavelength. The two mothers spot an opportunity and arrange a play date.
And by on the same wavelength, do you mean what I mean, which is not being treated for their obvious ADHD?
Oh, Quite possibly.
Because this does bother me about this storyline specifically. Like, it's hindering the boys making friendships. We know that it's been implied that these boys have ADHD. We have seen episodes where Lynette uses a lot of physical activity to tire them out, which we've already said is a common treatment for ADHD, for kind of the what's the word? I was going to say hyperness. That's not a word, but you know. So this episode where they meet somebody who's just like them and them getting along so well also makes a lot of sense to me, but it is frustrating because they're not doing anything about this hindering them. And I think when they're growing up, spoilers, the twins keep annoying me, and it's because they didn't have a chance. They're not being treated for this.
That's so fair. We then cut to a little bit later, Lynette waking up from a glorious nap when the doorbell rings, and it's the other mother whose name I will not clock until far, far later in the episode.
It's Norma.
Yes, but in my notes, it's going to be other mother for quite some time.
Which is funny because isn't other mother Coraline, which
is voiced by Terry Hatcher, yes. I did think that.
Did you notice Norma's top and cardi combo? Because it's so cute.
I didn't know. Okay.
Oh, I'm going to get a screenshot of it.
Do it. But she's bringing back the Scavo twins, bruised and battered, and apologizing for her own twins starting a rock fight. However, the Scavos are thriving from this quote-unquote game, and Lynette is determined to keep the play date, so she shrugs it off and says, same time next week.
Yeah. Did you notice Lynette was reading a book?
She was. I didn't notice what it was, though.
I didn't notice what it was. I was hoping it was some sort of steamy romance novel. But also then I was like, are they doing like a paper beats rock thing? Like she's getting the time to relax and read, so she doesn't mind that her kids are being beaten with rocks because paper beats rock and rock, paper, scissors.
I certainly didn't make that connection, but I love it. I love a little detail.
If you're one of the writers of this episode, I know the answer to that is no. But humor me. Oh. Do 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 do.
I don't know what that was.
No.
But we did it, and it's in the past now. And
I'm over it already.
We persevere.
The horrors persist, and so do we. Let's talk about Gabby.
Let's do it.
So the gals are all having ice cream together, including Edie. And Gabby is using her sonogram as a coaster. They are all trying to cheer up Susan with ice cream because of her latest horrific breakup with Mike. Bree has sensational hair in this scene, as does Edie. Important context. So I actually really like Susan in this scene. She's being very logical. She's saying that it's important for her to act like an adult, that she made a mistake. She understands Mike's feelings. She understands why he's done what he's done, but she also understands why she's done what she's done. And that maybe at some point they could get to a place of still being friends.
See, I got a different take. I wrote that she is in hard denial because let's be honest, this is not Susan. This is out of character for Susan. And to me, that tells me that's not her being logical. That's her being in shock, in denial or something, because there's no way she's matured this much that this is her genuine response in the time since the breakup happened.
Do you know what? I think that's so fair. And Edie does say, I think you're just numb at this point.
Yeah, and Edie's right.
Susan asks if there's any pie. They say no, they'd have to make one. And Susan says she can wait. And you know what? I have eaten my feelings during a breakup. So the first proper breakup that I ever had was horrendous because it's your first one. So it doesn't matter how significant that person was in your life. You've never been rejected before. So I remember that I ate in 3 days, 3-liter ice cream tubs.
Oh, gorgeous. As you are very well aware, my go-to breakup coping consumption is
Fireball.
A whole bottle of Fireball.
Actually, my breakup coping mechanism for your breakups is also Fireball by association.
Yes.
I like it when you tell me that a breakup is coming and you give me a date in my diary.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Desperados. Scheduling a breakup sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does, especially because people are really rude about RSVPing for it.
Yeah. Other things I noted for this scene was that they're eating ice cream in Gabby's house to establish that Gabby has ice cream.
Yes.
This may return.
Yes.
And also Brie, for the first time in a long time, is in her Mary Alice cosplay with like the cardigan tied around her shoulders. And I wonder if that's because she's kind of spends a lot of this episode encouraging Gabby into motherhood. So she's back into that maternal role.
Yeah. And I do wonder though as well, like, it's hard to say because Brie and Mary Alice were so alike, but how much of Mary Alice's aesthetic and look was taken from Brie and vice versa.
Interesting.
Because they were trying really hard to look like a normal suburban couple. So, you know, there's a bit of give and take, but she looks sensational throughout this episode.
Truly.
It's the hair, because we've seen her so bunny for so long.
Yeah, let it free.
Let it free.
So in the next scene,
We have character actor Alec Mappa.
What? I have no idea what that was.
So he's a character actor, Alec Mappa, who's the guy who plays the gay best friend in this scene. And he
I thought you were still talking about Brie and the hair and stuff, which is why I was confused. Okay,
No.
yeah. So we have Gabby, and she's trying on a lovely, tight Dolce & Gabbana dress with blue Dolce & Gabbana dress with her gay bestie shop assistant friend.
Character actor Alec Mappa.
You wrote that. I wrote, i.e. the news reporter from Ugly Betty.
Yes.
They give exposition, basically, revealing that Gabby has friends from her modeling days coming to visit, and she wants to look fabulous to rub her fabulous life in their faces. But with her baby bump, and I use that term loosely as she's gorgeous and skinny as ever, the shop assistant suggests a size 0 rather than her regular double size 0. This simply won't do. Gabby can't believe this fag just called her fat. Should I cut that? I wasn't sure when I wrote it in the notes. That's just free flowed out of my brain, and I was like, I'll say it and I'll get her a second.
I mean, it's definitely okay for you to say and not okay for me to say it.
Well, it's a good thing I covered this scene then.
It's one of those things where I'm like, if I laugh, am I complicit? But I think you're okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Moving on. So
it's very rare I'm left speechless.
He also notes that she's 3 months pregnant, which is crazy because she got pregnant months before Carlos went to jail, which he has been in for at least 5 now, because that was mentioned in a previous episode.
I think so, unless we've misunderstood some of the time. I'm now backpedaling and going, has he been in jail 5 months?
No, I'm just sticking to my theory that the prison is on the Hellmouth, and that is messing with the timeline. So
Good idea.
It makes sense in that sense. It's also worth noting that Gabby says the judge dropped the hate crime charge. So all Carlos has to do is serve out the slave labor thing.
It's fine.
But also, I would think the slave labor thing would have carried more of a sentence.
Well, I suppose it depends on how much he sold out to Naka.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not important.
No, I want the sideshow where we see the entire. I would watch the entire trial. I always think about that in TV shows when there's any sort of trial, that I would pay good money for them to do a special live episode, and it's the entire trial.
Yeah.
Even the boring bits, I'm invested.
Live stream it, baby.
Oh, so I have once again, for I think the 5th time in 2 years, been called for jury duty.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I've only time I've been called for jury duty was living in Japan.
What's really annoying is I want to do it so badly. I want to do it so bad. So the first time, they didn't pick me. The second time, work begged me to get out of it and wrote me a letter. The third time, I was on holiday. The fourth time, I had just started a new job, and so they'd written me a letter saying, like, she's just started 2 weeks ago type of thing.
How many times are you getting jury duty?
I know. And this is all in such a short period of time. And then this latest one, my boss went, I'll write you a letter for it. And I kind of went, I mean, yeah, but also I love, in another life, I think that I work in crime statistics.
I so believe that.
Yeah.
So believe that.
So I am very fascinated by the process, and I really want to do it.
I would love if we got jury duty together. We could sit next to each other and just be having a great time. Do you know?
Let's get quarantined together.
You know how you get like escape rooms and stuff?
Yes.
I want like mock trials that you can like sign up to be a juror in. So it's like a really juicy one, but also you don't feel too much pressure because you're not going to affect someone's actual life. I would pay for that experience.
Well, you can, because I'm telling you now, there are multiple Fringe shows that do that every single year.
Oh my God, next August, we're doing it.
And let's be sequestered together. I'll be like, you don't need to be sequestered. This is a fake show. I'm like, no, we're on holiday.
We're going to be sequestered together.
Oh my goodness. What if we went on holiday together and we did an episode of the Pod from Abroad? Pod from Abroad, that's what we'd call it. Pod Abroad.
No.
Have we been on? No, we haven't been on holiday together.
Not outside of Scotland.
No. Yet. We'll get there. Gabby is trying to get into her dress and she admits that she has been crash dieting for 48 hours, which is so bad for her and so bad for the baby. She brings in the new gardeners, who are not children, to help her get into the dress because it simply will not fit her pregnant body. One of the gardeners is struggling until she says, get me into this dress and I will pay you $10 more a week. Which, as we know, is $16.60 in today's money.
Thank you.
Which is $66.40 a month, which for both gardeners would be $132.80.
That's significant.
That's very significant.
For getting someone in a dress one time. Hell yeah.
So the other gardener comes in as reinforcements and is using pliers.
I think pliers, yeah.
And that does work. It does get her into the dress. But when she sits, the dress immediately splits.
And my only note is that the dress did rip, but they fulfilled their end of the bargain. So she better pay them that extra money.
I agree. The task was to get her into the dress. They succeeded. She didn't say keep them in the dress. Mm-hmm. I would like to think that Gabby paid out, but to be honest, knowing Gabby, she probably did not.
We'll never know. Bree has come to the rescue and she's helping stitch Gabby into her dress and can't really understand her dynamic with her model friends. We learned that when she told her model friends she was moving to suburbia to get married and be rich and happy, they told her she'd just end up being another fat hausfrau.
Horrendous.
Yeah, living a life that she didn't plan. And Gabby doesn't want to give them the satisfaction that they were right.
These people aren't your friends
Truly.
if they're not supporting your choices. Also, this scene is your mum and I.
Oh.
Because Jakub's mum altered my bridesmaid dress for my sister's wedding. And this Bree saving the day while Gabby's having a crisis was your mum saving the day while I was having a crisis about getting this bridesmaid dress altered.
Oh, bless. Oh, well, Bree challenges Gabby on whether she will come to eat her words and come to love being a mother, but Gabby very much doubts it. And when Bree finishes and Gabby waddles away, she truly walks like a penguin.
That bit is really funny. What to say? I think it's interesting that Gabby says she wishes she had the motherhood gene. I wonder if it's because she wishes that she were happy about this pregnancy or that she wishes that she felt maternal because there is a part of her that wants a baby. I don't really know how to interpret that.
I interpret it as like, she's disappointed to be pregnant and that she just wants to not feel that way. That's how I took it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's clear from what she's doing to look good in front of these model friends that she likes to fit in. And so maybe she just wants to fit in with all the other mothers in the lane in that sense.
Yeah, I think it's also, it's high school reunion vibes. It's like if you saw somebody who knew you when you felt at your most confident, you want to still feel that way and you still want them to see you that way. And I get the sense that Gabby was in some ways the group leader. In the next scene, Gabby is looking amazing in her, as I put it in the Patreon watch along, high body count hair.
High body count hair.
High body count
Real
hair.
Housewives of Salt Lake City, get into it.
And Gabby's model friends come to the door. They immediately guess she was pregnant. And while she doesn't have a baby bump, and I refuse to believe that they saw her stomach and assumed that she was pregnant, I'm choosing to believe it is because her boobs are bigger.
That's fair.
We don't see the interaction after that. Gabby goes to Bree's to be cut out of the dress. And she explains that whilst she met her friends and her friends were all kind of exactly the same, she's realized that Gabby herself is different. And Bree feels very like a big sister in this moment and is saying, maybe being around women that are different and have different values like me and Lynette and Susan has had an impact on you. I think that is true. I think she's seen different ways to live your life, and that always happens, right? You meet new people and you have new experiences and you see different perspectives, and it changes you.
I think that Gabby doesn't have any skills of self-reflection, and she needs to be confronted with something to get perspective. And we saw that with how the John the Child Gardener arc ended.
Yeah.
And it's the same again here. It took seeing her model friends and physically comparing her to them and how they are now and how she is now to realize that actually she's changed a lot and that she's happy with how she's changed. And she just needs to see it up close to understand that and appreciate it.
I think it is relatable that sometimes you spend time with friends and you realize that you've kind of outgrown them, and it's because you're growing at different rates. It's not that I've grown and I'm different and they're stuck in this whatever. It's just that we're on different flows.
Yeah, you've grown in different directions. It's not a match anymore.
In different places.
I had that experience a lot when I came back from my 4 years in Japan, and there were some people I hung out with, and it was like, I mean, I still like this person, but I don't have anything in common with this person anymore and any reason to spend time with them. And that was not hard, but just weird to get to grips with.
I think also, I find school as a concept so fascinating for children, because you do make proximity friends, obviously, and you make true friendships there as well. Definitely not disputing that. I just think you're kind of raised as cousins in school. You see these people all the time, every day. You have to put up with each other. So then sometimes you get really close with certain cousins, sometimes you don't. And then we expect kids to just be able to let that go. Like I remember primary 7 crying my eyes out. And it was because I'd seen these people more than I'd seen some of my real family members. Of course, this was going to be devastating. It's like losing. I just sometimes think we don't give children the respect that they deserve with that, because that's a big feeling.
Yeah, totally.
But that is what this reminds me of. It is that kind of loss of, sometimes if you're just not around people anymore, your dynamic shifts. And I mean, unfortunately, you're never getting rid of me. It's like the Silver Spring song by Fleetwood Mac, my favorite Fleetwood Mac song. It's like, you will never get away from the sound of the woman who loves you. And that's been you.
Hey, I seem to remember from the watch along that you didn't like it very much, but I loved Gabby's gold shawl thing that she wore that matched like the gold straps on her dress and stuff. I loved it.
It looked like a fabric sample to me.
And I loved it. It literally looked like she grabbed like a fancy blanket and just kind of wrapped it around her or something, rather than it being an actual piece of clothing. But I liked it.
That's fair enough. And you're allowed to be incorrect, and that's okay.
I also liked the exchange she had with Brie as she was walking out the door about going shopping for maternity clothes, and it really sets you up emotionally for the final scene.
Yeah.
But
So Gabby asked Brie to go shopping for the maternity clothes, and Brie remarks that she knows a place that does designer maternity clothes. And I think that's actually really significant exchange, because it's Brie saying you don't have to 100% give up who you are to be a mother. You can find your way of being a mother. You can still be the same person. And it does seem that Gabby has finally reached a certain amount of acceptance about the pregnancy at this point.
Yeah, and it is very heartwarming and just really sets you up. But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
It's the final scene. You'll have to keep listening. Susan is walking over to Mike's place, and on the way, she sees Carl and Edie fighting outside her house. Just notes it.
Yeah.
Susan is returning a Valentine's Day card to Mike that he returned to her with some of her other things that he left for her.
Yeah.
And as it would happen, Mike was aware, but Susan views this as tacky. So Mike takes it and immediately throws it away in front of her.
It's disgusting. Not the card, even though the drawing on the card isn't great. I truly believe that this is so petty, and I think that there is no way Mike didn't know that returning this card would not hurt Susan's feelings, and that is exactly why he's done it, and then he's done it to hurt her again. And that is not an adult way of dealing with this situation.
Well, Susan is trying to have banter with him, but Funny Mike has left the building. Funny Mike is nowhere to be seen.
Funny Mike is at the cinema.
Funny Mike is at the cinema watching a comedy. And it's clear she's hoping that she can kind of win him back as if it's no big deal, but yeah, it's going to take more than that. And I mean, you said, I do think it's rude, the whole thing with the Valentine's Day card, but I also think this, if Susan is continually trying to sort of act like nothing's wrong, that's almost like a way that Mike is sending a message of like, this is done.
Yeah, I think it's just more immaturity though, because again, it is part of the... Mike has been in relationships before. He's been engaged like 8 times at this point. And he is fully aware of the type of person Susan is as well. And the fact that she made him something, and it's art, which is something that's a big part of her and her life, and he has chosen to give it back. He knew. There is no way he didn't do this.
Do you know what? Actually, I'm so on board with you because I just, for a second there, dissociated and put myself in Susan's shoes and imagined if someone returned one of the handmade cards that I make, and it immediately upset me. So
yes, like
yeah, okay,
big it in private. Have you done the return of the exes things? Have you done a ceremonial?
No, because, well, the thing is, like, I'm a very tall person, so it's not like I can share clothes with an ex or anything very often. And I certainly wouldn't return things like gifts and stuff. So, no, I've not had to do that before.
Oh, I've done it.
Sounds fun.
I've done it in a petty way. But I'm a different person now. I was in my teens, okay?
Yeah, that's very forgiving years.
And I got my friend to drive me to my friend Dion. Don't bother bleeping it. She's probably quite proud of this. And she drove me to his house. I had a spare key and I left outside his bedroom door a box just as a da-da-da. And the worst part of that was I wasn't even particularly mad at him. So I thought it was for me, this entire scene is so high school. We've said this so many times.
So many times.
And that's why I brought up the last time I've done this. This is a teenager breakup. It's trying to hurt each other's feelings. It's one person trying to be mature so that they get the other person back, but only really to get the other person back. And it's the other person trying to hurt this person's feelings. And they're both making big scenes of it and big gestures. And for what? Like, what are we doing, guys? Carl shows up at Susan's door and Susan is in a bad robe. It is presumably the middle of the night, which makes no sense timing-wise from their fight earlier. And Susan does not look like she's wearing pajamas. We're ignoring all of this information for our own sanities. Carl has a lovely matching set of luggage, which also matches his outfit. This man
which is blue.
Which is blue. And Susan remarks that Carl can stay because Carl says he doesn't want to get a motel-hotel situation. And Julie is away slaying vampires. Carl and Susan are having some drinks. They're having some wine. Carl says he is not going to give all the details away of why him and Edie broke up. But after some prompting, reveals that he and Edie, but neither of them cheated on each other. There was no infidelity involved. In this scene, you can disagree with me if you want. I think Carl knew exactly what he was doing showing up here.
Oh, 100%.
He knew what 100%. He knew Susan was newly broken up with Mike. He knew he was newly broken up. He's been trying to get Susan back pretty much this entire time in the background. He knew having a couple of glasses of wine and reminiscing and flirting. And he, at this point, I think knows Susan better than Mike does.
I think if you didn't think that at the start of this scene, by the end of the episode, it's a certainty. My only note, I have one note for this scene, and it is, where is my late night knock on the door from Carl?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
So Susan says that she has an idea because she's in her eat, pray, love type of era of the breakup, that she is going to write a book, not a children's book, but about all of her failed relationships. She remarks that Carl will be several chapters and they are flirty, and as per usual, they have such good chemistry with each other.
I love scenes of them together. They're so fun. Yeah.
It's so fun to watch. I get the idea or the sense that as actors, they both get along really well because there's just a fun vibe.
And like even when Mike and Susan were at their peak, it just feels so much easier than it did with Susan and Mike.
Yeah, they've got this angst always and seriousness always hanging over them. And they don't get to play with each other very much.
Yeah. A little bit late. It's the same scene, but it's a little bit later. We kind of cut back and forth with some scenes. After some more drinking, Susan is ready for bed, but Carl tempts her into keeping the party going by offering up the info on his and Edie's breakup.
At this point, Susan has had 4 glasses of wine.
And basically, Edie found a picture of Susan that Carl was keeping under the mattress, something he likes to take a look at every now and then. Mm-hmm. And then Carl pretty much immediately goes in for a wee kiss. Susan initially rejects him, but she isn't upset about it. And they briefly, drunkenly sort of debate whether they should proceed.
Yeah.
And because, you know, as Carl points out, they're both on the rebound after all. Just 2 old friends helping each other out. Ooh.
This is so toxic of me to say, but this is so hot. He's so hot. He is a hunter and she is a deer. And it's just, and what she's had 4 glasses of wine. And look at the man. What hope did she have? She's but a woman, Jakub.
We would all cave. We all know it. Don't try and deny it in the comments. I won't believe you.
When I think about some of the intimate scenes we've had in this in this show and the kind of intense Mike and Susan one that we had, I really wish we'd gotten more from Carl and Susan here.
Yeah.
Next scene. Julie is coming home. And unfortunately for her, she walks in on Mama and Papa in bed together. Julie needs money for school. Carl says one of my favorite lines of the episode, which is, "There's a 20 in my pants, if you can find them." Julie is in the living room emptying Susan's bag, and she has turned it literally upside down. She is pissed off. She is fuming. And Susan explains that Edie and Carl are broken up, so there is no cheating happening. What I like here is that Julie is saying the same night he's broken up with someone, you're doing this. And I do think that Julie likes Edie and likes Edie with Carl.
Yeah.
We already know that Julie had to pick up the pieces when Carl and Susan broke up. And I really, really think that even though this looks kind of like a petulant tantrum, this is Julie's worst nightmare. She's thinking, I can't do this again. I can't go through what I had to go through before all over again.
Yeah. I just wrote, it's like one of those episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where Buffy has to deal with real life issues and not actually slaying.
Yes.
Which as a kid, you'd be like, oh, this is boring. Where's the monsters? But as an adult, you're like, ooh, fascinating.
Because guess what? We're all the monsters.
She said it.
So once Julie runs out, Susan mentions to Carl that they shouldn't have done it. And Carl says, but it was the best sex ever. And Susan agrees, which made me feel very bad for Mike. And it did make me wonder if Mike is bad in bed.
I would argue that he's just incredibly vanilla in bed.
That's not a bad thing, though.
Not a bad thing, but I imagine Carl is someone who is not that, and that's what Susan's accustomed to.
I think Carl and Susie Q have passion and they reflect on this. But Susan is happy to walk away from Carl and let this be a one-time thing. And thanks him for his contributions.
You know that scene in Bridesmaids when I feel like I've done a lot of Bridesmaids comparisons recently.
Yeah. Have you watched one film in the last 3 weeks?
I have not watched Bridesmaids in a long time. But there's that bit where the bridesmaid that's like all Disneyland obsessed and she's talking with the other person on the plane. It's like,
you are a princess.
That one. But it's when she's saying like, my husband will only do it after we shower. Under the sheets, separately, missionary in the dark, and I'm like, that's Mike.
Oh,
that's my image. I also, my only other note for this scene was I love how commanding Julie is, not just over Susan, but Carl too, because we've seen her commanding over Susan, but she's always been on good terms with Carl. We've never seen her annoyed at Carl, but it's good to know that she treats them both the same.
Yeah, I think at one point he goes, "Hey, pumpkin," she goes, "Save it."
Yeah.
But again, it is that thing. She's disappointed in her parents. And I think it's because she's had to be the adult perhaps in some ways with both of them. We've not really seen a lot of the Julie and Carl dynamic.
You get more of that if you watch Julie the Vampire Slayer. Because she goes there to practice slaying. Anyway.
Goes where? He's living with Edie.
Yeah, but we don't see those scenes as
Your
much.
story's got holes, man.
So Susan is watering the garden later, and Edie goes over in a lovely long scarf to tie her hair back that matches her dress. I'm obsessed with this hair scarf.
Yes, nice ensemble.
Mm-hmm. Nice ensemble. So Edie announces that she and Carl are back together, and we think she's coming to gloat about it, but actually she's coming to thank Susan because she knows that Carl stayed with her the night before and is assuming that Susan said something that convinced Carl to go back to Edie. Apparently he brought her flowers and apologized for anything. And this whole time Susan is weirdly like, she's got the watering hose, which is vaguely like gun shaped, and she's holding it right up as if she's holding a gun to Edie. And I just thought that was like an interesting little detail. Like she's got her guard up or something.
Yeah, I think it's also to show that without realizing it, she is the threat to Edie's relationship. She's the threat. She's holding the gun.
Yeah.
But Edie has no idea that that it's a gun.
Because it's a watering hose.
And the beginning of this scene.
Sorry.
Because it's a water. You want to slurp from my hose? The beginning of this scene feels very naturally Edie, very season 1 Edie, kind of saying, I am reluctantly thanking you for having this conversation. I just wanted to know that when Edie hands back the photo to Susan, it's a very wholesome one of Susan and Carl.
Yeah. Yeah, so she hands back the photo she found under the bed, and now she's ready to gloat by reminding Susan, by giving her this photo, that she won.
Which makes no sense, and I don't like this choice. It screams,
it's season 2 Edie.
Season 2 Edie. It screams of insecurity, and I'm not saying that Edie didn't present as insecure before, but this I won narrative, she was never competing for Carl. She never even tried to compete with Carl.
Yeah. So she claims that Susan has no hold over Carl anymore, which we know not to be true. But also, I must say that this kind of the fact that Carl immediately went back to Edie after he couldn't win Susan back just makes me see Carl as kind of pathetic.
Wow.
It's like he's trying to get this girl. No, it's not working. Okay, I'll go back to the previous girl. It's like, dude, like, come on.
Well, do forgive me, Desperados, if I've said this before, but one of the most important pieces of dating advice my mom ever gave to me was about straight men in general. And again, massive sweeping generalization that might not be true. But she did tell me that a man will not leave you unless he has someone else lined up.
Ooh. You heard it here first,
you heard it here first. And whilst I'm not saying that is 100% of the time the case, I will say that I have noticed in my life, in friends' life, in family members' lives, that I would say that has been the case 90% of the time, because there are certain type of men who are not single by choice. And I know a lot of women who are single by choice and choose to be single by choice, straight women. And there are certain straight men that would do anything to not be alone.
Fair.
And it's sad. And it's sad for Edie as well, because the relationship is always going to be inauthentic because they're both coming at it from completely different places.
Yeah.
Let's get on to Betty.
Yay.
Betty and Matthew are coming into the basement to speak to Caleb, who we now know is Betty's son. Betty has ice cream and says that Caleb has not had any in a while. And if we're going from previous lore that we've had dropped, as part of Caleb's, quote, punishment, they do not speak to him either. So this might be the first conversation that he's had with anybody in quite some time. There is definitely something to be said about the ice cream that we will return to. Betty wants Caleb to talk to her about Melanie, who we know from previous episodes is a young girl who was 17 and murdered in a very brutal way. She is being very gentle, but we see a shot from the back of Matthew and the gun in his pocket. So all of the kindness that we see from the Applewhites towards Caleb always has this undertone of threat beneath it. Again, it's kind of like a bit of a parallel to Susan with the watering hose, except this is a real gun, but it's hidden. Betty says to Caleb she can't let him out until she can show her some sort of remorse for what he's done to Melanie. Caleb reflects that Melanie was a bad person and deserved it. So Betty says, no one deserves to die like that, Caleb. Don't you agree? Matthew, during this scene, looks physically in pain watching all of this interaction. And Betty takes the ice cream away. And one of the reasons this is also horrific is it's as if she's trying to train an animal. It feels like she's treating him like a wild animal. There's chains and there's conditions to this love, and there's like food being used as treats, and it's horrendous. And we hear Caleb screaming when they lock the door.
That's tough.
As he tugs on the chains, we also see that some of them are coming loose.
Yeah. My two notes were that, first of all, I forgot Betty and Matthew existed until this scene came on because their storyline is so disconnected from everything.
And I don't think they were in the last episode.
Yeah, it's a whole other show at this point. But also, this is like the third time Caleb is getting loose and free and stuff.
Yes.
So I'm like, I don't think they planned this cell very well.
I do wonder if some of it is to show... Here's how I'm choosing to interpret it. That they had no idea that they're amateurs at this.
Yeah,
So they're doing a bad job.
They clearly like ran away in the night and moved house in the middle of the night and stuff and kind of cobbled this whole plan together.
Because we've spoken about how the storyline is racist and disablest and horrendous. But the other explanation adds another layer to that, which is they're trying to make out that this sweet, well, we don't know yet, but they're trying to make out that this character is some sort of wild animal and can't be tamed. And it doesn't matter what they do, he's going to get loose. And this is a human being. Ugh, I hated it. I hated all of it.
Ooh. So later, Matthew and Betty find that Caleb has in fact escaped. So they step out into the night, and then we quickly fade to the next morning when they are still looking. And there's one house left they haven't checked yet. So Betty, in her all blue outfit, goes over to Bree in her all blue outfit, tending to her blue flowers.
It is a beautiful garden.
Yes, and she's basically distracting Bree so Matthew can check around the back and inside Bree's house.
And also taking away from Betty's actions and just going personality-wise, Alfre Woodard is fascinating to watch because it always feels like she is operating on one level, but there's so much going on beneath the surface. She feels so calculated and intelligent and like everything is planned. Oy. I have a lot to say about the next scene.
Oh boy, yeah.
Matthew breaks into the Vandicap's back garden and Danielle is there. We have never seen Danielle presented in this way before, which I struggle to say it because she is 16 at this point. I'm pretty sure canonically. I think we have her 17th birthday in season 2. And she's hypersexualized is the only way that I can put it. And it feels like she's wearing a costume. It does. We've never seen her this way. We've never seen her presented this way. We've never seen her act this way. And it creepily feels like a bad porno beginning.
Yeah, I'm just like, where is our unbothered queen that I've come to know and love? Because this is not her. She seems so much more also like calculated and aware, and she's smoking.
She's smoking cigarettes. I think the smoking is meant to signify that Bree doesn't really know her children, and we've seen that with Andrew, but now we're seeing it with Danielle. If it were the smoking thing alone, I would get it. My only interpretation of this scene is heartbreaking, and that's the only way I can make it make sense, which is she is a 16-year-old grieving the loss of her father, and this hypersexualization could be a part of that, could be a part of her seeking male validation. We also need to remember that John, the child/adult gardener, split up with her in a way that, as Bree requested, had to be particularly brutal. And we know that the excuse he was using was that she was not having sex with him.
Yeah.
So her entering this to me, it feels like she is a poor, sweet, lonely baby crying out for any sort of validation she can get. Also, let's not forget that her mother is somehow dating a different man 2 months after her dad's death, and her brother has been sent to conversion therapy camp.
Girl's been through a lot. There's only so much she can turn a blind eye to before she gets bothered.
I will have no slander about Danielle in this scene. Matthew is clearly attracted to Danielle, but is asking her out in a way to cover for being there. Danielle bends over and then says, because I would say yes if you were to ask me out, and then does this fake smile, which to me even more cements that this isn't authentic, and it is identical to Bree's fake smile.
Oh, I did not clock that. I'm going to go back and look at that.
If you were to do your screenshots.
I've done the screenshot of that moment, so I'm going to go
put it side by side with Bree's fake smile in this episode, and they are bang on the same.
Okay.
So that's what I have to say about that. So my poor baby, Danielle. My poor baby.
And that's the apple whites. So now we go to Lynette.
Oi. I felt like...
I enjoyed this plot line.
I think it might have been quite progressive for its time.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I've got a lot to say.
I had a nice time.
Yeah, so as we remember from the cold open, there is 2 sets of twins now, and they're enjoying play dates with each other. The mothers are enjoying time off.
Yes.
The other mother is dropping off their twins, the Scavo twin. No, oh my God. I should use their names.
Blonde twins,
right.
Scavo twins.
Norma and Leonard are dropping off their own twins to Lynette's place.
Yes.
And reminding them that it's their turn to take the Scavo twins next weekend because they can already hear smashing from inside the house.
And I think they're going to take the Scavo twins to the
water park or something, yeah. Later, we see the twins coming downstairs. They're bored as the other twins brought some boring videotape with them. Lynette and Tom think they should be polite and watch with them, but upon entering the boys' room with snacks, what is in fact playing on the TV turns out to be the beginning sort of foreplay section of a sex tape that Norma and Leonard have filmed together.
Yikes.
Tom and Lynette panic when they realize what it is. They take a moment to kind of process what's happening.
Because again, I think it's fair for them to initially be in shock and think, this is quite an unexpected way for this sleepover to begin.
Yes. And so they frantically, very chaotically try and turn off the TV. They're grabbing for the remote. It's not working. Covering the TV. It's quite a comical moment.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, there was no sexual acts or nudity yet happening on screen. The other mother was like in her lingerie playing Peek-a-Boo with her bra.
I would call it Peek-a-Boobs.
Peek-a-Boobs.
Episode title.
Peek-a-Boobs. Yes! Although no boobs were seen. And I did spend some time thinking about like, okay, is this scene funny genuinely? Is it a bit problematic?
Yeah.
Or is it whatever? I think at the end of the day, I think it's a very just funny scene because the boys don't see too much.
Yeah.
Ultimately, there's nothing malicious happening. It is just an unfortunate situation. And unlike things with like John the child gardener and stuff, it's not like normalizing or encouraging any kind of bad behavior. And these are fictional characters. We don't see them like traumatized by this in the future or anything. So I'm a laugh at it.
And Tom and Lynette appropriately, I think, intervene. The children have made an honest mistake because they don't understand that the material is explicit. From later on in the episode, we get the sense that the boys have never found anything like this before. Yeah. Also, Parker staying to politely watch
because he is the good one.
Because he's the good one and not understanding what the problem is.
Yeah, it's so like, what's wrong when they're freaking out? Also, Tom suits this maroon sweater he's wearing, but I swear it's all he's worn all season. I think he only owns one sweater.
Okay, so Jakub.
Are you going to say this is like normal straight man behavior?
No. I was hoping that I was just in a weird place emotionally when we did the watch along. But unfortunately,
Tom
is very hot in this episode. He has the stubble and he's being a good father and he's supporting Lynette
Okay, so in the like Paul, Carl, Carlos, Tom ranking, what position is Tom sitting at right now?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, moving on swiftly.
I would like to call my lawyer. Okay, next scene. The blonde twins are going home and Lynette is about to confront Norma. And Norma turns her attention to young baby Penny, who is in Lenny's arms. Lenny's arms? Lynette's arms. Sorry guys, as you know, Lynette and I are best friends and I called her Lenny. In Lynette's arms, the baby is definitely teething. That poor baby's cheeks are so bright pink and sore. Norma starts to play Peek-a-Boo and Tom has war flashbacks.
I was howling. So funny.
So, Lynette and Tom hand the video, which is a DVD, back to Norma. And on the front, it has Leonard and Norma, 1st of July, 2005 on the front, which implies, 1, it is not the only video, and 2, they are not the only people who feature on the video. Ooh. So I made a mistake really early on, so addendum, I suppose, during the watch along, where I thought that this might have been one of the characters who saw Maisie Gibbons, Leonard.
Yes.
I looked it up, generic bald man. Oops. It was a different bald man.
We're sorry to bald men for confusing you out there.
Sorry, bald men. But I do think that there's probably a tape that says Maisie Leonard Gibbons. And Norma and Maisie.
Ooh, I want to see that tape. I really don't.
No.
This is the scene where I started to clock all of the blue because I'm like, Lynette's wearing a blue blouse here, Gabby's blue. Dress, George's bike later, Carl was wearing all blue. It's everywhere.
Blue. So Lynette and Tom are trying to be super chill about it. And Norma turns into Beaker from the Muppets and squeaks her way out. She runs. She is hysterical. But a detail that I sincerely loved was that when she's screaming at the kids to get in the car, she still makes sure the kids have seatbelts on before she flies away. Buckle up!
I just wrote that she has big Phyllis energy when she speeds away in the car.
And Lynette is upset as Norma drives away, saying, "We're still on for the water park." Right?
It was also in this scene that I clocked her name as Norma. A very normal name for Desperate Housewives.
That's very true. Do we get a Leonard and Norma surname? I'm going to look it up right now.
I couldn't hear one. I mean, I didn't rewind it.
Also, I love you keep saying clocked when the only feedback we've ever been given is to stop saying clocked. And you're like, clocked. Yeah,
I clocked that feedback. Next scene. Leonard is the name of the father, I realize right now. Is my first note.
Leonard, you are the father.
Tom and Lynette knock on Norma's door, determined...
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you so quickly into the scene. I have referred to this as Christmas Tinette because Tom is wearing a green jumper and Renette, get Lynette's name right this episode, Erin. Lynette is wearing red, and every Christmas movie rom-com poster, one of them is in green and one of them is in red. So this is cute. Christmas Tinette.
Cute. Yeah. Well, they're knocking on that door because Lynette is determined to keep those playdates going. Tom, however, feels quite embarrassed to be there.
I really feel like Tinette are at their best in this episode.
They're great.
They're fun. They're partners.
They're clearly a team and they're on the same page and it's nice.
And they're pro-kink, which is sweet.
Yeah. So after some initial stress from Norma seeing them, she answers the door and she's like, "Ah!" and slams it shut. But then Leonard does let them in for a chat.
Leonard's not embarrassed at all.
He is not. Lynette makes it clear that they really don't care what they get up to in their private time. They just need to make sure the boys don't get a hold of the tapes again.
Valid.
So cool. We love to see it. Norma is relieved and says they even considered selling the house at some point.
Poor babies.
Bless her.
Poor babies.
What Leonard is most embarrassed about, however, is the filming quality. He's not happy with the lighting. Framing ain't up to scratch. He tells Lynette that what she saw was an example of his earlier work.
And let's talk about that. Because the date on that DVD was the 1st of July 2005.
And this is a 2005 season.
This episode aired in November 2005. So we can deduce that in 4 months, he has really honed his craft.
Game. He's hyper-focused, hyper-fixated.
Much like I am about the dates and numbers in this. You're talking about the numbers.
Maybe Leonard's done time in prison and they filmed something in prison. Weird timeline. Maybe it's been longer than that.
Or maybe in the past, when maybe Leonard was on Maisie Gibbons' list and then he went to jail for a little while.
Maybe Leonard is also omnipresent.
Yeah. But Leonard is making it clear that he is a director. He's an artiste.
He's always dreamed of directing movies. Tom and Lynette are clearly getting more and more uncomfortable. They've got that kind of like grin on their face of like, oh, okay.
It's plastic.
They're like, we did not come here for details. But I think Leonard, with the drink in him now, is mostly just relieved and excited that he's able to talk about his work with someone now.
Yes.
Get a fresh set of eyes, you know?
And as he said, he has this gift that he's unable to share with people because of the private nature of his work.
So he quickly suggests now showing them the room.
And this is how Secret Lives of Mormon Wives started.
So we see them getting a full tour of their little porno set, breakdown of camera stats, info on the soundproofing. And there's an open invitation for them to use the room for themselves.
Would you use this room to record the podcast in? In terms of, from what you know, in terms of the stats, the sound quality?
I think I'm most intrigued by the soundproofing. There'd be no echo at all. It would be a really clean audio track, you know?
Yeah. And you'd be about that?
Yeah, I would. Leonard, how much you charge in an hour?
And how much is it in today's money?
Yes. Don't worry, we have a calculator for that. Anyway, as Tom and Lynette are leaving, it's very clear that there will be no more play dates.
I like that Leonard and Norma offer up the venue to Tanette for their own private filmings.
Would it be private though, or would Leonard be there as film director?
I think closed set, but definitely people like the director would be present. And as we've said, it said Leonard and Norma. I think there's other people here. I think this is the way he was talking about the sheets and the light bouncing off. It's so funny. And you know, I think there's something about this storyline that feels so charmingly human. In that, yeah, if you're not hurting anyone and you're doing something consensually in the privacy of your own marriage and you're not, you know, in any way impacting, like, the kids aren't impacted by this in any way, like, why not? And
exactly.
I do think that this episode has aged well in that way. I do wonder if at the time it was more about Lynette will put this how she actually feels aside because she wants to play date so bad, but I don't think it reads that way. It does kind of seem like we're just gonna mind our business, but also really love Lynette will get involved in a random marriage. But this one, she's like, I'll leave you guys to it. This one's nothing to do with me.
I have no feedback on the filming quality.
I'm taking no notes here. And I wonder if they could have spoken about the filming quality, because I can't lie, her nanny cam footage was higher res.
But it was black and white.
Yeah, but that's artsy.
That was a film noir.
That was I dated a man who was doing why is my dating life coming up this episode? Because it's a very short book. It's a novella. We'll
be covering the whole history in this episode.
Well, yeah, but yeah, he was like, I'm making a black and white film, and I did watch the rough cut of it.
Was that the same person? Oh, okay. Don't think I knew that.
It's Dead Mothman.
Oh, okay.
And the dead moth was featured in the black and white film.
A problem.
And you know what? In hindsight, the film was quite good.
You missed out.
I don't think I missed out. But I do think it's also fair to say that the film was quite...
Better than you gave it credit for at the time.
Yeah, you know, no artist is appreciated in their own time.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen a dead moth before. I really hope this person's listening to this.
Hey.
Hi.
Sign up to our Patreon.
Yeah. We'll discuss it some more. I will say that if going to Bree's arc, to be the person who is allowed to recap the scene is an honor. And one that I take very seriously.
This is a historic scene.
Bree was blindfolded for a yard sale by George. But surprise, George takes the blindfold off and he has bought a house on the lane. Which is, I'm just calling back to when I acknowledged him as a worst neighbor.
Here we are.
George is revealing to Bree that he is now essentially one of her neighbors. And in comes my favorite lesbian couple. George's mother, Liza Minnelli, and her friend, in air quotes, Cecile. Allegedly. They say hello and then hide in the back room. George is talking about Bree moving in already. And you can see in Marsha Cross's performance how physically uncomfortable and defensive she is. He then immediately proposes. And again, he doesn't even get down on one knee. It feels like the way he opens the box is Gollum in Lord of the Rings. It feels very like,
oh my God, that's so accurate.
It's like he's looked at Bree and he's gone, me what's it? And he's just determined to have her. So he immediately proposes. Bree points out that Rex Van de Kamp, may he rest in peace, has not been dead 2 months. Then George says, please. And the lesbians come in with champagne to congratulate the happy couple. Bree is going to let him down easy, and you can see, but she is so darn polite. And when the cute little lesbians are hiding behind the pillar, she reluctantly says, okay. And she looks absolutely disgusted.
That was a bang-on impression, by the way. The sort of hesitant, okay. Well, her initial reaction when George proposes is, huh? Which, interestingly, is the same reaction she had when Rex brought up being into S&M. And I think there's a lot of parallels between problems she had with Rex and this whole thing with George in this episode.
Yes. After reluctantly saying yes and the lesbians celebrating with them, Bree immediately downs a drink.
Yeah. I also thought this is just classic manipulator behavior by asking the question in a situation that he knows because of her proper and polite nature that Bree will feel compelled to say yes. I 100%. Even think George would have instructed his mother and her alleged friend to bring in the champagne after 2 minutes to ensure there was an audience.
Yes. And we don't know a lot about George's mum. I don't think we ever do.
You did in the watch along compare her to Lisa Rinna with the hair. And that actually reminded me that Lisa Rinna is married to Nicolette Sheridan's ex-husband, Harry Hamlin. Just a fun little fact. Edie's ex-husband, married to Lisa Rinna.
Invisible strings. Mm-hmm. Invisible strings all over this place. Oh, I hated the scene. I hated it.
It gives us a absolutely perfection meme though, which I just love.
Yeah.
So you win some, you lose some. In the next scene, we're in Goldfine's office. Lynette is in a stunning blue top.
No, she isn't, because Lynette's not in this scene.
Correct. Bree is in a stunning blue top.
Yes, she is.
And basically she's catching up Goldfine on the proposal, acknowledging that there's a downside to having good manners, which George definitely abused.
I howled at that line. Obviously there's a downside of having good manners, so matter-of-factly.
Goldfine doesn't seem too shocked by this story, which suggests to me that this is classic Bree, but also that he's starting to kind of pick up on the sort of person that George is, even if Bree isn't painting him as a villain, because actions speak louder than words.
Do you know how bad your relationship has to be for your therapist to intervene?
Well, that's what I'm going to say. What does shock Goldfine is that Bree is considering going ahead with the marriage because George is comfortable. They have the same interests. George also loves the opera. And I think it's shockingly similar to the conversation that Goldfine had when she was struggling with Rex and thought it'd be easier to stay together for the dinner parties in that case rather than because of the opera. But it's all very similar. But the difference is that she actually had feelings for Rex under everything, and Goldfine seems to take a much stronger stand discouraging her from going ahead with George than she did about leaving Rex.
I think that you're right, and both conversations root from Bree's loneliness. I think it's interesting that everything she says that she likes about George is friendship and none of it is romantic. And she describes Rex as true love. Mm-hmm. Now, this also implies to me that Bree is either starting to or has forgiven Rex for the note.
I mean, when you see what she's left with, which is George, it's like no comparison. Like, come on.
But also, I think...
I wonder if she comes to regret burying him next to that sort of junkyard.
I think he's getting dug up again. I wouldn't worry about it. But I think that as well, there is a little bit of... If her and George don't work out, then she jeopardized some things with Rex and had this emotional affair for what? You know?
Yeah, she's like,
if she
it's a bit of sunk cost fallacy going on.
Absolutely sunken cost fallacy. And she's got this thing of like, well, if it works out and I stay with this person, then I've not made this horrible choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I also was going to say it's interesting that earlier we saw scenes of Bree and Gabby, Gabby consoling and Bree and stuff, which is later in the timeline if you're going chronological. But Bree's clearly like never opens up about George to any of the women. I actually don't know if any of these women know that George even exists, and she's engaged to this man now. Crazy.
Yeah, and she is back to that place of not really feeling like she can confide. But I think it's because if she talks about George, she knows it's not right. Yeah. She knows it's not right, and she knows what these women are going to say. I mean, I've had friends say to me before when they've been breaking up with someone, I couldn't tell you about any of these problems because I knew you would tell me to break up with them. So I'm telling you now because I know you'll make me leave them. Like,
there we go.
Bree goes to George's new house to go to the cinema because it's all there is to do.
And George is wearing blue.
And this is not a cinema date. This is, in fact, an ambush. Bree walks in and we meet all of George's extended relatives who clearly have thought there was no way he was ever going to end up with someone. His cousin Stan makes a minging comment about Bree having babies, to which his mum says, after 40, the eggs don't get any fresher, do they? Neither does the sperm. But I will give her grace. George's mum, Liza Minnelli, would not know that because she's a lesbian.
Can I also just make a request that we never talk about George's sperm again on this show?
Do you know what? It's not an unreasonable request.
I apologize, Desperados, on behalf of my co-host for putting you through that.
Never apologize on behalf of me.
I think George is just doing everything he can to entangle their lives as quickly as possible to make it as difficult as possible for Bree to untangle it.
Exactly. And I think he has every intention of baby trapping her. Because more entanglement, more mess. And so Bree storms out and says...
this is my quote of the week.
It's my quote of the week too! Hey! She says my quote of the week, which is... I'm taking my champagne and my aging eggs and I'm going home, which is me leaving every family gathering.
Well, it's rare we overlap on quote of the week, so that's nice.
It was too close to home.
Same.
Bree's arms out and George follows. She mentions that Goldfine agrees with her and that things are moving too fast. So George immediately adds Goldfine to his hit list.
Yeah.
Bree talks about how she does not want more kids. And George is like, I don't need kids. I just need you. And he was definitely planning to mess with her birth control.
Oh, big time.
George is happy to slow things down and pretends to be supportive. But it is clear that he is plotting. Because he's the devil.
Yeah. even if he wasn't plotting, he just seems so desperate by being like, we'll have kids. No, we won't. That's fine. I don't care. We'll do whatever you want. Just let's just stay together. It's like, ugh, that's just not attractive. In the next scene, I have one, it's a crazy scene, but I only have one bullet point because it's a very simple scene with not much not any dialogue.
Yeah, I bet you it's the exact same as mine.
All I wrote is that Goldfine is out for a walk and George throws him over a bridge.
Oh.
The end.
All I wrote was +1 to the death count.
+1 to the death count. Well, to elaborate, Goldfine is out for a run in his blue tracksuit when George drives by on his blue bike in his blue outfit and throws him over a bridge.
Into some blue water.
Final
scene. Hate this. I'm delaying talking about it.
I'm getting emotional already.
Gabby comes home and notices that her fridge is open in her kitchen. This is after we've heard her say to Bree that she needs to be cut out of her dress. We see that ice cream has been taken out of the freezer, which we know from earlier was what Betty was trying to reward Caleb with for showing remorse. But Gabby doesn't notice that the ice cream is out. So in her closet, she finds the bowl of ice cream and she turns and sees the silhouette of Caleb. And she throws the bowl at him and begins to run. So it's important that we know her movement is impaired and a bit dodgy because of the dress. So she stumbles down the stairs. Caleb approaches and stands over her. And you get the sense from the actor's body language and from the kind of head tilt that he doesn't really understand what's happening and he actually seems quite confused. And we know that he leaves and doesn't directly harm Gabby.
Yeah, I think as well when Gabby first returns home, although she is very chill, the lack of any background music and heightened ambient sound is so off-putting and quite horror movie-like that as a viewer, you immediately know something is wrong. And I think we watching it before we even saw the ice cream, the second she got home, we were both just like, oh no.
It's, for lack of a better term, a perfect tragedy. Like, why does Gabby, why is Caleb happening to get loose that day and happening to stumble into Gabby's house? Why is Gabby happening to be in an outfit that impairs her? Why is Bree happening to be finishing up before she comes over? Like, there's so many things that could have happened differently. Yeah. And that's how tragedies happen.
I also think you undersold her fall down the stairs. Like you said, she took a little stumble or whatever, but like she fully tumbles down. It's like we need a stunt double for this situation.
Yeah, it is horrible. We get a Mary Alice voiceover. Bree is talking to the police and Gabby gets pulled out on a gurney. Mary Alice voiceover says, yes, cameras are tools designed to capture images. And we see Bree talking to the police outside Gabby's house and Gabby getting pulled out on a gurney. She whispers to Bree to grab something and Bree runs in, running past somebody who is taking a picture of the crime scene. Mary Alice says, but in truth, they can capture so much more. They can uncover hidden longing of men who should no longer care. And we see Carl with a photo of just Susan, which I think is even more implicating about his feelings for her. And also this idea that he is carrying multiple images of Susan still. Mary Alice says they can reveal the extraordinary secrets of the most ordinary marriages. And there's what I think is quite a sweet clip.
It's really cute.
Norma and Leonard watching one of their home videos in bed, eating popcorn and laughing. Mary Alice says, dreams we didn't even know we had. And Bree fully runs to Gabby in the ambulance. And we see that what Gabby asked Bree to grab was the sonogram photo of the baby. And Gabby clutches the sonogram as she is taken to the hospital. And I am in bits.
I think the second Bree said, I just need to grab something, we knew.
We all knew. It's this classic thing of, Gabby has just reached a point where she's letting herself be able to accept and
be excited
about this baby. And it has been taken from her. And It's horrible. And also, Gabby doesn't have Carlos there to be her support. Brie has her support and is in the ambulance with her. It's I felt so when I saw in the notes that I was the person that had to recap the scene. I was like, I'm going to be stumbling all over the place because it's horrendous.
You did a great job, all things considered.
Thank you, baby.
Let's move on to segments and have a little laugh because,
Worst neighbor is George because he's finally a neighbor.
I didn't even consider that he was buying a house on the lane, so that didn't cross my mind.
Oh, he's going local, baby.
I put worst neighbor is Carl, just for like, why are you like trying to get with every woman on the lane at once? Like,
and why not us?
Thank you. Asking the real questions. My monster of the week was 2000s beauty standards.
Well done, Jakub. Well done. Yahoo Chansey, well done.
Thank you, Auto Captions, for giving me this moniker.
Is it more insulting to you or more insulting to me because it can't pick up my accent? Really, this is about me.
It always goes for phonetic spelling, so you stand a no chance.
Yeah.
Okay, let's rank the husbands.
Tom comes out well for me. I think this might be his second line. I have to sing it to make it. Well, actually, he's not as good as last week. Maybe 8.
I was going to say 7 or 8, not because we're having points deducted, but because, you know, we start at the baseline average and go up. He didn't do anything like super extraordinary. So give him a couple extra points because he was nice and they got on well. And
I liked his stubble, so I'm going to give him an 8.
Okay, 8 it is. 8 it is.
Also, he had some very good facial reactions to some things that made me laugh.
He did. I've got some stickers on iMessage ready to go.
Woo!
Carlos was not in this episode.
So he did very well.
I'm thinking when we get to the tallies at the end, I'll take an average of each husband in any episodes they weren't in. That's the score I'll give them for those episodes.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Mike. I put 4, but now I'm thinking 3. I think you talked me down earlier to put him to a 3.
I think he's a 3. I think he's a petty spaghetti. And just because he regrets his relationship with Susan doesn't mean he should be this way.
Well, Mike might be a 3, but the way you worded that is a 10 out of 10.
Thank you. Mike really annoyed me in this episode. That was me hitting my microphone. Well, I think that's that.
Yeah. Until next Wednesday or Tuesday.
Please, always, forever, stay desperate.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check out our Instagram for visuals, behind the scenes content, and more.
You can find us by searching for Modded, that's MEWDYD.
Or just search for Mary Alice, What Did You Do?
This podcast is brought to you entirely by us, Erin McGee
and Jakub Tanzi. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to leave us a review. It really helps us out.
Join us next time for another episode of Mary Alice,
What Did You Do?